Today I messed up by making my asshole a chemical wasteland. Last month I got a mild case of the runs after eating some restaurant food. Ended up having a day where I had to evacuate the bowels 6 times. For some background, I am very inclined to have a clean asshole, and when I'm in America, I move around a lot. I tend to use a ton of toilet paper after I shit. So much so that when I had 3 roommates I bought the TP myself and didn't ask for a money split because I used so much. This day when I shit 6 times led to a lot of wiping naturally, so much that by the last shit, the wipes included little spots of blood. Despite my excessive wiping in the past I have never had this issue before, so I naturally was worried. I was mainly thinking about hemorrhoids. All I wanted to do at that moment was ensure that the area remained clean. So, I grabbed the Lysol wipes from under the sink and relished in the fact that all that sweet stinging killed the bacteria that could be there. Fast forward to the next day, it got worse. In fact, the area had developed a rather serious itch. So every time I had the runs I would wipe with paper and Lysol to ensure whatever the fuck was bleeding wouldn't get infected. In fact, I was so paranoid about that I started not only wiping with alcohol wipes, but also hopping into the shower after every bowel movement and lathering up a wash rag with soap and cleaning that entire surface of hell of any microbial life forms that could be residing there. About 24 hours of that and the itching quickly became unbearable, like a hive of mosquitoes feasted on my sparkly clean rectum. I resorted to periods of time where I would punch my ass cheek over and over again so the reverberation would itch the hole. Not only that, but since I was still getting over the runs, it was easy for me to sort of force shits at more frequent intervals so the escaping waste would itch the spot itself, and then a whole other round of alcohol wiping and soap would occur. Needless to say, it got really bad. So I did what any sane man would do in my place, I googled it. After scaring myself with things like hemorrhoids and parasites, I ran across this godsend article for essentially a fancy name for rash on the anus, something dermatitis maybe? I start reading this article and honestly, in my very itchy, hellish state, couldn't help but chuckle a bit. It said something along the lines about how either not wiping or wiping too much can cause this. Then it says some people will resort to using dude wipes or alcohol wipes to try and clean the area, which the chemicals will make it much worse. Then it says, whatever you do not be tempted to wash the area with soap in the shower because it will strip the skin of oils and dry it to hell. I had done literally every single thing I shouldn't have done after giving myself an over-wiping rash. I had turned my asshole into a chemical wasteland. So I took the article's advice, I started using pure water dripped onto toilet paper, tried to stop shitting so much, and I shit you know, the itching was nearly all gone in 24 hours. It was gone so quick that if I didn't have the runs I could have accidentally cured it. Today I messed up, I lost my computer in a drunken night for the 2nd time. So I brought my laptop out in town when drinking. This is the 2nd time I have ever done it and it's the 2nd time I have had it stolen. Rewind back a few years ago, I had during my 3 years bachelor's studies never once brought my laptop into town when I was drinking. Then during my thesis I got invited out for some beers and since everyone else brought their backpacks with laptops I decided to do it as well. It ended up with our bags grouped up in the corner and us sitting around plus sometimes playing some games around the bar. That night my laptop was the only one to get stolen and I lost all progress made in my thesis plus all my old files. This time it was a day full of drinking at uni combined with a farewell party for a friend making me drink and party for 14 hours straight. That said I never felt I was too drunk and I also managed to keep my backpack with the laptop on me most of the night and if they had a wardrobe I put it in there. Last thing I remember is saying goodbye to my friend and riding off on my bike. Then boom I get a blackout and wake up at around 12 p.m. I knew instantly that I had lost my backpack and when I first looked out the window I also thought I lost my bike. The bike was retrieved, parked a bit away from my apartment building. But the backpack I went back to search for at the bars and it wasn't there. I have also learned that it's a good thing for me to have the timeline on Google Maps, so I could see that I had indeed just biked home straight after the night out. I bought my laptop 9 days ago, so that must be some kind of record. Now I am dreading to tell my parents since it has happened before and they paid for a new computer. Cause I didn't have insurance and was a poor student last time. Today I messed up by lying to my boyfriend. I honestly don't know what to do at the moment, I feel so awful about something that I've done. A few days ago, my BF, M19, and I, F19, had an argument about me liking another guy's post and we settled it by me promising that I would not like guys' posts as he's very uncomfortable with it and that he would give me a chance to prove myself so he could trust me again, which I feel is very fair. Today, he randomly mentioned that one of my course mates, male, was trying to basically get into my pants. I found this ridiculous as in my head, this guy and I are not even close friends, we only speak because of our course at uni and that I have absolutely no feelings towards him. Despite this, a few days ago, when I posted on Instagram, this guy liked and commented on the picture. As he does this with all my other friends, I never thought anything of it and proceeded to have a normal conversation with him about university a few days after. Following the conversation about this guy with my BF, he asked when was the last time I spoke to him. Given our argument and being afraid of what may happen and how the situation looks, I lied and said I hadn't. I am awful at lying to people I care about, so he didn't believe me. He then asked to look at the guy in eyes chat, which I refused. After 5 minutes of uncomfortable silence, I admitted that I lied and apologized. He didn't say anything, but I can tell my BF is really hurt by it, and he said that he doesn't trust me at all. For further context, in a few days, he is leaving for university on the other side of the country and we were planning on staying together despite the distance. However, because of what I've done, I think I've ruined my chance of staying with him. At the moment, we are staying at my university house and the only thing stopping him from going home is the fact that he has COVID. He asked for some space, so I am typing this out crying in the kitchen. I think I've fucked up really bad and I just want to make this better. I know how the situation looks, but I would never dream of speaking to other guys. I know it's so audacious of me to ask of him, but I just want him to give me another chance. I'm very naive and I really don't know how to fix this. Any advice is appreciated. Today I messed up by drunk rage shouting at my neighbor. First off, we've gotten along pretty well over the years and never had a problem. We'd get together for a few beers every now and then in the past and would have each other's back when it came to our homes, i.e. talking trash bins, grabbing mail if either of us were away. During the pandemic he decided to put a pool in his backyard. Our yards share a large slope, fenced, and he put in a good size water slide in as well, which TBH is pretty badass. We have a pool as well, no kids, he has 3 kids. The project took about a year and of course there was a lot of loud noise during construction, but we said yes to the project and signed the permission papers, so we took it in stride. I was happy for them to see it completed and it looked very cool. The problems started almost immediately. The water running for the water slide is super loud, so that makes everything else super loud, including the repeat Green Day, Beach Boys, Jack Johnson playlist. The neighbor encourages the kids' shrieks and is actually louder than the kids, especially when they all decide to play Marco Polo. Our outdoor seating is all the way on the other side of our property from them, and it's impossible to enjoy some chill music as their shouts, screams and music drowns everything out. When I say it's loud, we're talking louder than the actual construction loud, to the point that it can be heard 3 to 4 houses down in the front of people's homes. As the weather got colder we were looking for a break in the noise, but guess what? Dad bought the kids wetsuits so the party can continue. I tried to bring the noise concern up with my neighbor last year, just asking to keep it down a little bit and maybe ease up on the Marco Polo shouting, and his response was, oh well, boys will be boys. We're 2 years into this and it's gotten to the point that we don't enjoy spending time in our own backyard anymore. We've seriously considered putting the house on the market, but with today's prices and the current rates, where the hell are we going to move? The missus and I decided to have a Bloody Mary/mimosa Saturday and we had a lovely time, but by the end of it I clearly had way too many cocktails. We're enjoying our first quiet Saturday in weeks and then all of a sudden the Green Day pops on, the screams start, and I totally lost it. I went to the fence like the neighbor from Home Improvement shouting Jesus effing Christ. We agreed to a pool, not a mother F water park. If I had any idea this would be our lives I would have never signed that effing document along with a bit more language about being sick of this sh. My neighbor was shocked. His wife wanted to call the police because I flipped out and used language in front of their kids. Thankfully, my wife told me to go inside while she diffused the situation, where I immediately passed out. The next morning I woke up knowing I had completely effed up on this one. I apologized for my tirade profusely via text and we talked in person on the Monday and things are mended between us, but I've basically lost all rights to ever say anything again at this point. To make matters worse, I only decided to share this because we were having a lovely pool morning yesterday. At 10 a.m. I said to my wife, what do you think it will be, Green Day, Jack Johnson or the Beach Boys? And as I said that, Green Day's Wake Me Up When September Ends came blaring on, killing our day. Today I messed up by going to a concert. I recently went to a JID concert. I was smack bang in the middle of the mosh. I'm a big guy, 6'2", and I'm heavy, so all that jumping and moving makes me thirsty. The event managers provide water in bottles at the front of the crowd, with everyone passing back to people in need. It's courtesy to waterfall the water, at least that's what I thought. Obviously, being center of the mosh, there's going to be a fair amount of mouths on the bottle before I get some, and I drank a few. I've now been sick as a dog for 2 weeks, throat infection, extreme coughing and abnormally thick mucus production, headaches, fever, ear infection leading to the inability to hear out of my right ear and the likes. I must have drank from one too many festy bottles. Safe to say, I won't be in another pit for a while. It's been a horrid experience, I hate it. Only benefit is fighting through it and seeing the artists nice and close. End of the day, my fault.